This is going to be the biggest Ecomi and Veve roadmap update that I've ever made on this channel. We are going to go over every single relevant step that will make the difference between your collectibles and your Omi tokens going to value or staying where they are. We are going to listen to answers of members of the team and to evidence from news and other videos, and we are going to take our conclusions, what that means for the price of our assets. Whether you are an investor of the Veve NFTs or the Ecomi token, this roadmap is equally relevant for the both types of investors, and I personally am investing in both of them. I am not doing the crazy arbitrage trades that we are seeing in the market right now. If you were subscribed to this channel, you would know that we have already said we want to invest in a project that is building throughout the bear market, and this roadmap will show you exactly what is still coming for the Veve app and for the Ecomi token. And as the Veve app is the backbone of the Ecomi token, it is very hard to separate them both. So we are going to look at each and every step that is coming for those, and we are going to connect them also to the underlying enabling factors that I can identify right now in the market that are necessary to develop throughout this bear market as well, to make the Ecomi token and the Veve collectibles explode in the end, so that you can come to life-changing, if not wife-changing wealth in the end. As much as I would like to shoot this video from this cornfield, this late cornfield in autumn, I cannot do this here, so let's go to the PC and continue talking from there. Hey everyone, it's the Patient Toddler coming at you with another video, and as I have said before, today we are going to go over the multi-year roadmap for Ecomi and Veve, for our favorite project. But before we start, please keep in mind that I'm a crypto and NFT investor and not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before you ape full degen into the Ecomi token and or the Veve collectibles. Also, make sure to smash up the like button to a new all-time high if you enjoy this content, because liking and subscribing is the easiest and completely free way to support my channel. This video has cost a lot of time and resources and energy, so I would be really glad if you could like and subscribe for this video. And also let me know in the comments below what you think about the Ecomi and Veve roadmap. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, tap the bell to always get notified whenever I upload my next video and or start a live stream. And with that out of the way, as promised, we are heading over to my computer at home. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we finally are almost ready to jump into that roadmap. But before we can really start, we have to do some housekeeping yet and spread some very important and well-deserved thanks. And the first one is going to the boys from the channel Superstar Money for the amazing interview with Rhys, the AMA with Rhys. If you haven't seen it yet, head over there and watch it entirely. It's absolutely worth it. And I've taken out a lot of clips from this AMA because it was so good and so helpful for providing material for this hopefully very wholesome roadmap. Secondly, I want to thank my rare hodlers for always supporting my journey, for holding the line throughout this bear market since almost 1 year for some of my rare hodlers. So thank you very much. And this video is also for you. And finally, and I think we do this way too less, I want to thank all the members of Ecomi and Veve that make this journey also possible for us, for providing us with all the desired and sometimes very late milestones, and always keeping up the communication with those community AMAs and also with the community updates that I also took some videos from. So especially I want to thank Rhys, David Yu, Dan, Alfred Khan, and all the others that are working as developers in the background where we do not know the names. So thank you very much to Veve and Ecomi team at this point. Now, I have my coffee, my Ecomi coffee, locked and loaded, ready to go. And when I'm done with this video, it was a lot of work, I have a very good read here. So as you can see, I am totally not biased. What can you take from this? Obviously, I'm invested in both of these projects with a significant amount, significant for me, maybe not for a Dr. Profit or so, but that means that whenever I say something in this video, you have to see that I am, because of my investment, already positively biased and that I am still buying Ecomi and Veve. Now with that out of the way, let's jump into this roadmap. And first of all, I want to show you the structure of this.
Try to simplify it.
So you see these three colors here, and these three colors are very fundamental trends in my opinion, and they are increasing. So these trends are still developing. The underlying technologies and fundamentals that are necessary from those trends are influencing the project. That is why it is going with the straight timeline that you can see here in white. And along this timeline, I will list all the milestones that I can see that will bring value to the project or that are crucial to the project's success. Now, I want to start this off with these three streams and go a little bit into why I think they are so relevant. So the first one here, in my opinion, is marketing and awareness. And I think in the last month, this was a very highly discussed point around the Amazing Fantasy 15 drop that many of the community have gotten, and where the common is trending around 400 to 500 gems, dollars, euros at the moment.
It's Marvel deciding on where they want to push their products, how they want to put it out. Does it fit with the rest of their marketing? Is this a nice way to reward the people who have been collecting on Veve?
Now, I think this is something that has only just begun. Rhys has stated in that AMA that they see as a team, and also in accordance with Marvel, the AF15 drop as one of the last rewards for the Veve users that stuck around with the app throughout the difficult times, and that it could be one of these last rewards that we will see before mass marketing. So the blue line basically means everything that has to do with marketing in terms of collaborating with important influencers. And I'm not talking about all of us YouTubers that you see right now here around the Veve fam, but I'm talking about collaborating with big ones like Andre Jig, who has already talked about Ecomi and Veve, with BitBoy channel, who has also mentioned Ecomi as well, but also very, very big channels like the one of Logan Paul. So I think this will be an increasing strategy. Marketing will be everywhere. The companies, the brands that are on the app will do the marketing. We know there is a channel like Disney Plus that can do marketing between all of the Disney Plus series that they have in ad breaks or between switching from one type to another. So there are endless opportunities. This is why I have this increasingly here in blue under the roadmap. The second point, in my opinion, crucial to the project, also with the vision to extended AR, VR functionalities of the collectibles, 3D collectibles, augmented reality, and finally the Metaverse, VeVeVerse, augmented verse that we are going to talk about more in the end of this big roadmap update. I think it's very crucial to also observe the development of this technology, and we have seen some very impressive milestones being hit by these technology departments already.
I've always envisioned a day where we're wearing AR glasses and walk across the Golden Gate Bridge and there's a giant Russo hanging above it and it airdrops you collectibles, right? Or things like that. Like,
oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we will get to a point where everywhere you look, there's digital advertisements and digital items and digital collectibles and quests that you can go on to get to, the walking tour around a city will change because you'll be incentivized to go to locations.
So we have seen, for example, some of these companies coming out with metaverse standards already. We have seen that some of these companies are working on very light AR, VR goggles, glasses, such as Apple, for example, and also have we seen that within the technology there is more and more code that lets digital objects interact with physically already there obstacles and other objects, such in the videos that I will display during talking about this here. And finally, in my opinion, the third layer that we need is education. And I have put the logos there as an example. So the YouTube logo is an example, the Apple logo is an example, and also the one of Meta and Instagram is an example. I know that Instagram is part of Meta, but I wanted to put them together there to outline why this is education. I know YouTubers are providing education in the end as well, and I know that the different projects are also working on educating, but the masses are going to come in touch with NFTs and with 3D collectibles and with augmented reality and everything else, mostly through influencers on Meta, on Instagram, or whatever other social media that is now integrating all this tech, and they are going to learn about the differences between a normal JPEG and a blockchain-based NFT that they get from their favorite influencers. So also education is coming up while Veve and Ecomi is building out. And we have recently just seen in the news that Meta and Instagram are now allowing to integrate these NFTs into their platforms. So we are actually seeing right now at this point that people are coming in touch with NFTs, and it will be only a matter of time until they will embrace and accept and even demand NFTs. We have seen a lot of resistance in the gaming community, and I have said it already in previous videos. I only wait for the moment that they do not reject NFTs anymore, but embrace them and demand them, because they see the benefits of holding on to their favorite skins, for their achievements, for whatever they can collect, that this does not go away with a newer game version or with losing access to the account, but is rather stored in a wallet and you can still sell them. And instead of selling a whole account, like with World of Warcraft, for example, that you will be able to sell different pieces that are locked right now within the account, such as those weapon skins. But only that, these three lines I see, and despite that, but not displayed visually here, I see two more trends that are very important, and the one is the green trend. So having carbon neutral NFTs will be a dominating factor, because the green trend is actually a mega trend, and as we always used to say on this channel, the mega trend is your mega friend. You want to go with this trend. And the second trend is the fairness trend, and the fairness trend is also very important here. We will talk about this in a bit when we are looking at the milestones, but now let's jump in. And the first one that I have here for you is the Comic-Con and Decon. And we have right now the London Designer Con in front of us. By uploading this video, we are almost in the previous drops for Designer Con, and obviously this is very important that Ecomi and Veve is attending these events to target exactly the little collectors groups. We have talked about this in a previous video, that with the movie-oriented drops, with the design-oriented drops, with the Marvel-oriented drops, Veve is like a surgeon targeting specific little groups to build them slowly up, because we have time in this bear market. So we want groups that are focusing on designer collectibles. We want groups that are Marvel fans. We want specific comic collectors. We want specific Disney or Disneyland fans. And all these groups are slowly building up and bringing their fellow collectors that are still in the analog world into the digital world. This will be a slow process, but it will be a sustainable growth. And after a while, we will also see these people maybe trying out other stuff on the app. So someone who's only there for art NFTs, for example, of Elson Bamcat or whatever, will maybe buy one or two Marvel comics because they have seen the amazing videos of comic content creators on YouTube or whatever.
Have you changed at all your marketing strategy? Like
obviously Comic-Con, huge event, great way to intro. And, typically in marketing, you have touch points, right? Like, I don't think anyone pays attention to ads on Facebook or Twitter or any of those things anymore, right? But the first touch point might be Comic-Con, and then the next one's an article you read, and then the next one's something else, and that might be enough to kind of bring you into the app. So it's not I think people expect us to just kind of throw VV all over billboards all over the city, and that's going to bring in users, right? But it's just not how human psychology works. It's not how marketing works.
So the same happened to me when I came on the app. For months, I only bought comics. Now I have over 90 collectibles besides all my comics. And I think this will happen with a lot of people. So this will bring value to your Veve collectibles. The next one is something that is already going on, but where I expect way more traction and which is way more attractive to the whales with the big money than for the little investor. And I know some people are angry that the minimum bid, for example, for a Marvel comic is 1.5k, but it is what it is. It's a one-of-one NFT auction. We have seen the one of David Yu, the David Warhol, has been sold for $28,000 to Dr. Profit. Congratulations. It had real life utility attached to it. The next one that we saw, an art piece with, I think it was a pilot cat or something, also went to Dr. Profit for $9,000, and now we will see how the Marvel exclusive one-of-ones do. I expect very high prices for these because these are highly sought after. And now the trend comes in here as well. We talked about the fairness trend. Actually, we have received news that the original artists of these one-of-ones are getting a share of whatever the selling price is. So actually, these guys are making money again of this collectible auction, and maybe if it sells on the secondary, every time a collectible flips, the artists also can get more money. That's at least the idea of art collectibles, in my opinion. Next on my list is the OUP final article. We have heard in the community update that they are planning to bring out the final OMI utility program article in the next weeks, but at least until the end of the year. So I think this article will be also released during the end of Q3 or Q4.
Final stages of the OUP planning. We've basically got everything kind of nailed down now. Some of the back-end development is underway, and I'll be having a chat with Rhys about when we're going to start releasing that info.
The OUP is the number one priority, just to get that out, which obviously is going to be the information, right? It's not necessarily the integration to start with. We will still collect a round of community feedback and hopeful that we get the OUP information out within the next few weeks.
And in my opinion, the OMI utility program article is a very important piece because it shows us how many Ecomi tokens we can expect to be staked and how long they will be locked up in the specific staking tiers to achieve those tiers, what the burn fees are, the final ones, what the staking tier numbers are. We know that there will be staking tiers 1, 2, 3 with different lockup times, with different benefits attached to it that we will also see on this roadmap. And obviously the OMI utility program will make you eligible with one of the staking tiers to participate in the drop raffle, so will give you more chances to get drops. And in my opinion, this will be the main driver. This OMI utility program will be the main driver for the value of the Ecomi token in the midterm. Now, we have talked a lot about account merges, and many people were angry because their collectibles were locked up in secondary, third or fourth accounts. There will be a possibility to merge these accounts in the next months, which means that these people can integrate the collectibles into their main account. From there, they will be starting to gain Master Collector Program points for those collectibles as well. The points that were generated onto the other account will not be transferred. This also means, and we have to keep that in mind for the overall Veve market, that actually the secondary market will be from this point more diluted because there are collectibles right now locked up in these accounts because these accounts are not KYC'd, cannot be KYC'd, and therefore these collectibles in those secondary accounts cannot hit the market. So keep that always in mind when we are looking at a longer bear market. There can be a lot of collectibles still coming to be sold off. We have seen a lot of people are selling collectibles at the floor of a very low bear market bottom within the Veve app to transfer that money via cash out into the Ecomi token. So we can always expect, like with Bitcoin, with the Mt. Gox situation, that there is further dilution coming from such milestones. Also, this is to come with the end of Q3, and therefore I would estimate it in Q4. The next one here is a very important update, and I think it's mostly overlooked. It is the search bar update, or the search update, which means that you will be able to find collectibles way better than it is right now. You have seen already, if you search for Mondo, for example, as a word, you do not find the Mondo pieces. So there will be a lot of search terms that you can put into the search function, and you will actually find exactly what you're looking for. You will be able to look for specific mint numbers. You will be able to look for brands, collectible types, whatever, animated, not animated, potentially. And if this is the case, then this probably will give a boost on certain collectibles, and specifically on certain mint numbers, because now that you can scan the market for those mint numbers with the search functionality, obviously a lot of people that were too lazy to look for this will be starting to look for certain pieces that are not popping up all the time in the market, and therefore their prices might go up as a consequence. Then also from the community update, the last one, we have heard that metadata will also be implemented. And that means that channels like the great data analysis channel of VeVeVerse, for example, do not have to make such an effort anymore to try to identify which collectibles were bought by which whale wallets. Then it will be possible to actually see whether this was a low priced comic or a very high priced collectible or a very high priced secret rare comic that a specific whale bought up. So we will get a lot of data and stuff to analyze and to align our strategy with what whales are doing. And on the other hand, this will be a little bit of a toy also for whales to pump and dump, because if it's obvious what they were buying, maybe people hop on this whole trend that they identify, and then already the whale starts selling into this collectible. So be very careful when analyzing metadata. We do not know yet if metadata will be fully available. We've also heard that they want to integrate the emission supply, so how much was really given out, like for example with the very first Captain America that was not a bobblehead Captain America, so with the very first, let's say, real life statue. Because when this collectible was coming out, it did not sell out on the market for a long time, and it never did sell out. Instead, Veve decided to burn 8,000 and I think 4,000 of the common and the uncommon collectibles of these. That means that the real supply of these Captain America statues is way lower than it seems right now when we are looking at it.
We won't necessarily update the original mint amount, but there'll be an extra piece of metadata to say, like, 5,000 minted, 3,000 in circulation, 3,000 available, or whatever it happens to be, so that you know that, okay, there's actually a lot less here, because eventually we do want to enable burning of collectibles.
So for the common, you have to deduct a certain number, and this will be also visible in the metadata. And then we will finally have one of the biggest catalysts for Veve collectibles coming up, I hope still this year. It is announced to be this year, and that is the Master Collector Program Phase 1. So if you do not know what the Master Collector Program is, I cannot explain it in this video, because otherwise I will be talking for 3 hours straight. But just as a short summary, the Master Collector Program rewards you for buying and holding sets and collectibles of different rarities with different points. These points can be used to buy raffle tickets and therefore participate in the drop raffle. So you will have a preference in the drop emission before other users that do not have this type or this amount of Master Collector points. And it gives the whole Veve app a certain amount of gamification, because now this is a race to the top. Who can have the most points? You will have leaderboards, you will have badges, and obviously we all know it from the games, and I personally always do my comparisons to World of Warcraft. There's nothing better to emit a dopamine shock or a dopamine level increase than a good achievement with a good animation that just gives you some instant gratification, like when you are hitting an achievement in World of Warcraft that wants to keep you going. And right now, the only gratification or kind of achievement thing that we have is that we actually can see with a little yellow badge how we have fulfilled a certain set, but there's no animation, no sound, no reward to it. So that's what I meant in the last videos when I said collectors do not have anything to do on the app until this point. So this will give collectors, set hunters, something to do and something to compare, something to flex, and something to get an edge over others. And before you are crying about whales dominating the drop raffle, there are not enough whales in the app to dominate a drop with 10,000 additions. So all you have to do is stay ahead of the other 10 people in the end to be within the 10,000 people and to be able to participate or have a greater chance in the drop raffle. So by collecting either Omi utility points or raffle tickets, or by completing master collector program challenges and points, you will be able to stay ahead of the crowd. So in my opinion, the master collector program will create a new back and forth of collectibles in the market, which will result in fees that will benefit Veve. It will result in higher prices of the collectibles, which will benefit the user, and it will result in more burns because of this more accelerating back and forth, which will benefit the Omi token price in the long term because of those burns. So all in all, I'm extremely bullish on the implementation of Master Collector program and Omi utility program. Why did it take so long? Well, the Master Collector program depends on the Omi utility program and vice versa, because both sides give access to that specific drop raffle. So the drop raffle with all its functionalities has to be implemented with the Omi utility program and the Master Collector program, and everything has to be balanced. And everyone who is a gamer knows how difficult it is to balance a game. Now imagine how difficult it will be to balance a system like that, where actually real people's real money, real life savings are flowing into and depending on. This is a lot of pressure for the team, and obviously expect some imbalances in the beginning, expect some exploits, expect some very smart stackers that will find a way to outmaneuver the original purpose of the system, and then expect some rebalancing, which will then automatically result in some insatisfaction of some people and a satisfaction of other people. But expect this to happen. Sometimes it could be good to just follow your own strategy and obviously collect what you like and collect what aligns with your strategy. But Veve collectible prices cannot increase without the influx of certain amounts of capital. We have analyzed the broken gem economy of the Veve app as it exists right now. This could be fixed by the following point: crypto to gems. It was announced in the community update as well.
We have also been stealthily in the background working on crypto pay-in through one of our service providers. It is a new feature that they're rolling out, so we're looking forward to offering that to all of our KYC customers.
And crypto to gems will open the floodgates to the very big investors of the crypto market. We know there are a lot of people that became rich overnight, or at least over one bull run, and that have more Ethereum or more whatever crypto that they can spend in a lifetime. And these people are willing to grab some of the most valuable and scarcest NFTs on the marketplaces. They are going in different NFTs like CryptoPunks or mutant apes or whatever, but they are also going to take a look at the one-of-one NFTs that are being auctioned on Veve and maybe find their way into the scarcer ones, maybe find their way to the information what's valuable to the Veve fam, and eventually will bring a huge crypto stack into the Veve app. And now we see how one thing leads to another, because you can raise awareness in different forms. For example, the one-of-one NFT auctions will raise awareness for higher priced NFTs on the Veve app and will actually raise the awareness of these whales. And then finally, for these next 2 quarters, I identified that probably we are going to see more and new verticals. So what we do not have right now, but what was already discussed in the AMAs before, is, for example, gaming NFTs. And they have said already in the AMA, the Veve team, that they are working on the licenses for gaming NFTs. Maybe we can see the first trials of gaming NFTs. Also here a word of caution. We have seen so far that with every new vertical, there is a test before the real deal, which means the NFT auctions were tested with the David Warhol. Now we have the Marvel ones, and eventually we are going to see the Banksy ones. Now, if we are getting a new vertical, it's not worth already screaming boo when it's a gaming NFT from Epic or Regal, because this will be probably a very good test for the app. Probably not going to be very valuable unless Epic or Regal is able to hit the masses in the Indian market. But what I can imagine is that there are way bigger gaming NFTs coming in the future after these tests were successful, after the AR, VR tech development is increasing, after the education is increasing, after marketing and awareness is increasing over time, and therefore also mass adoption is slowly coming to the Veve app. So I believe that we are going to see a lot of different verticals.
Yeah, sports is one of the verticals that we're obviously going after. There are better and worse times of year to roll out particular sports, right? Obviously based on seasons and all those kind of things. And even then, if it's the ideal time of year, it depends on whether the content's ready.
I believe we are going to see not only gaming NFTs, but also, for example, trading cards like Pokemon cards, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I could imagine that over the long run, we are going to see everything that is worth transforming as a physical collectible to a digital one, and where it makes sense to connect the digital with a physical counterpart. Then obviously when you hear crypto to gems, we are immediately thinking about OMI to gems. And I think once crypto to gems works, OMI to gems will also come. However, I'm not sure about the position in the roadmap here, because OMI to gems means to involve Ecomi besides a burn mechanism with the Veve app and link them together. So for this, the regulatory issues, the whole deal with the SEC going after altcoins, and everything else that also keeps them right now from listing the token on the exchanges needs to be solved. However, I believe if crypto to gems works with the other coins that they allow to go into the app, which probably will be Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe Cardano, and some of the other well-known coins, and obviously also stable coins to gems, then I think we can see OMI to gems. Also, I believe OMI to gem might come only after having the staking of the OMI token for the various tiers rolled out, so that people can actually still enjoy buying and staking before the prices explode and go to the moon. Now, this is why I would put a big question mark on the topic here of OMI to gems. The next one is one of my favorite demands, and I actually expected this already coming this year. It didn't, and I might be quite happy about this because it let me stack a different type of collectibles, my favorite type of collectibles, and that is comics in showrooms, when comics in showrooms. And I believe also the Veve team imagined to already bring this, because David Yu likes comics quite a bit, as we can see from the various updates, and comics and showrooms will be a major value driver for the comics. So in comparison to the 3D collectibles that we see on the other side of our Veve market, comics have almost no utility besides the AR reading functionality. However, with the showroom, it will be able for whales to flex and for the Voltaholics to integrate comics. Depending on how high we can scale the comic, it could be a very nice background for a miniature landscape or whatever, depending on a specific comic. And for all the comic collectors out there, it will be a big party to just assemble their comic showrooms. That will also be the point when I will really start to enjoy my showroom. However, this is not the only thing that I view for comics coming in those showrooms. We have seen right now that there is this augmented reality reader, but in the beginning of the video, you have seen that AR video where someone is interacting with these virtual digital cubes in the real world. You have also seen how digital objects are interacting with the real world. So in my opinion, it will only be a matter of time when all these things are increasing, like the AR tech, that we are going to see a possibility to hold a comic in our hands and go through the pages so that the comic is readable like a real one. And that will be the point where the MC1 comic that no one could read in its original version in that sense, because it's always in a plastic graded slab, will be possible to finally read this stuff and to hold it in your hands in virtual reality or augmented reality. So I'm extremely bullish on these functionalities, and obviously the one with interacting with these digital objects will be extremely good also for the collectibles that we have so far on the Veve app. So in my opinion, it will only increase, if not let explode, especially the comic collectibles. We have seen in the last months that a lot of companies in the crypto space have started laying off people. And this is because they had an immense hiring during the bull run phase. Now, I don't know if it was because Veve did not have the funds or didn't want to spend, but Veve did not hire as much as the community wanted to see. Right now, in the bear market, Rhys stated that this could be a very good timing to find the right people to integrate them into Veve, into Ecomi, to slowly build up, to see who is talented, to start working with a very progressive and agile team. And I think this is exactly the phase where we are going to see Veve bringing in more and more people and slowly ramping up with the demands that are coming from the community and coming from the planned projects and from the licensors for new technology, new collectibles, and whatever they have thought out that we couldn't even imagine right now. So I think this is going to happen along the way. And please keep in mind, from this point on, everything is already very vague because we do not know what is going to happen in the end of the year. We have already seen that some of our community games have started to actually earn you Ecomi tokens or burn Ecomi tokens, or do both of this. So we have already 2 play to earn, play to burn games that are working. One is Fishes from Brockmac Blockchain and the other one is Cannon Crisis from Curtis Cooper. It's worth to take a look at both of them because I'm sure they are fun, and Cannon Crisis has now implemented that you can actually, by playing, also earn Ecomi tokens. But there is this game, Epico Regal, I've mentioned it before, focused on the Indian market. The Indian market is a super big market. Produced by a British seated company. The CEO of this company is Venkatesh, and Venkatesh is also strategic advisor of Ecomi. And by the way, Venkatesh is also the one who provided us with proof that Pokemon is very likely coming to Veve, because he basically made a mistake and said it in an event.
Veve is an amazing application that was created by the company Ecomi, And Veve basically signed brands like Marvel, DC Comics, Disney, Pokemon.
But Venkatesh has built up this game, Ecomi, and I'm sure they will find a way to mass market this game. And once this little tower defense, Clash of Clans like game is going through the roof, if ever, we cannot be sure, it will also burn a significant amount of Omi. The very important thing here to note is that Fishes, Cannon Crisis, Ecomi, and whatever other games are coming are taking away Omi from the circulating supply and replenishing the burn wallet. If you are interested in all the burn mechanics, then please make sure you check out my video of the burn mechanics that I will also display here. Then there is the big question: how can the retail investors that are not familiar with the crypto space also buy Ecomi tokens? Because we want buying pressure on the Ecomi token once we are done stacking our bags. And what's important here to note is that always in history, the back end of solutions did very well, and the investment in those back ends when the user on the front end didn't even know about the back.
I completely agree, and I think I was going to say the way DeFi is going to go mainstream is when it's the back end of financial applications people use every day without knowing how it works. When they get loans on it, when you have the latest batch of Y Combinator startups all creating mainstream front ends to, earning yield on stable coins. In the same way, this is the exact way we actually win over gamers, which is, I don't think it's selling them NFTs. I think it's selling them in a game where they have an amazing experience and they own a piece of equity of that game. They have the ability to buy from their favorite streamer a skin that they use to win that tournament, keep that memorabilia forever. It's about creating a game which is massively popular, which under the hood uses NFTs.
So there must be a way to buy Ecomi tokens without understanding crypto exchanges, wallet addresses, and whatever other stuff comes with crypto that you had to go through and learn that other people like your mother, your uncle, your brother, or whoever is not interested in and will never do. And the solution here is to buy L2, layer 2 Omi directly in the web app.
Purchase layer 2 Omi on the app directly, or would it be through gems and then transfer over?
Again, no confirmation, but obviously that would be the most seamless way to get Omi tokens, right? Instead of having to buy it on exchanges, bridge it, do all the nonsense.
And we have heard already that this is a plan, and this is massive, because this basically means that Ecomi is not only going to see buying pressure from the crypto space that with every bull run apes into whatever coin that is out there, but also from the regular people that want to get an edge by buying Ecomi and staking it for the staking tiers. Because when they are doing it within the Ecomi app, they do not have to send it to wallet addresses to buy and sell. They do not have to do it on an exchange. And many people have already mentioned the fear that then for regulators, Ecomi, Veve, this construct would become as an exchange. And this is solved because the whole transferring is done by a payment provider that actually says that their services are meant to avoid interaction as and with an exchange already. If I can find this tweet, I will still link it to you here. I have shown it in another video about Veve's payment provider. And then there is the biggest catalyst of them all. Because if you are living in the US or in UK, you might think that each and every person on this earth is speaking fluently English, or at least a little bit English, and understands the basic things. If you're looking at statistics, this is not true. There is only roughly 1.x billion of people that either speak English as native language or as a secondary language. The other 6 billion people are not capable of speaking English, but they are capable of downloading the Veve app and buy at least one of the lower priced collectibles. And this is very important because we need to make it possible that these people can understand what they're doing on the app. Therefore, we have localization coming in. But localization is, as previously already discussed on my channel, not only translating the app, translating metadata and whatever, and the guides and the videos that are coming out, but it's also onboarding community with targeted collectible drops for different cultures, for different languages, for different histories and backgrounds. So we have seen that already as tests. I said it before, Veve always tests before they are doing something. And they have mentioned in the AMA that this year, and potentially because of the delay, the next year will be in the focus of the APEC region. We are going to see more drops oriented to Japan, Taiwan, potentially China. I know NFTs are not legalized in China yet, but there is already a law on the way that will permit the selling of NFTs in China if no crypto is involved. So Veve can actually just offer everything except the OMI side to the Chinese people, because then it would be fiat in, collectible, sell collectible, fiat out. Everything with KYC would then be in the legislation of the Chinese government. We have also seen that there were some announcements in the direction of onboarding France, like Citroën, like the Little Prince, but we have not seen those collectibles yet on the app. And if you are thinking on your personal background, if you're not from the US, or maybe you're an immigrant to the US, and you think about your cultural background, what you would like to see, what would get you really, really hyped for Ecomi and Veve as a collectible, then that's probably what they need to target. So, and while this is all happening, probably the different phases of the OMI utility program and the master collector program are being rolled out. And with it, there are some features that are coming up, like renting collectibles, burning collectibles, like flexing mint numbers in the showrooms, and extended AR functionalities, and whatever other stuff we can expect from these very creative people on the Veve team. But for the token side, there is one driver that beats all of the others. We have seen it throughout the last altcoin bull run. Whenever there's an exchange listing, there is also a run on the token. We have even seen it throughout this bear market. When tokens were listed on a specific exchange, they have seen a 20, 30, 50, almost 100% rally in a bear market. So the Ecomi token is only listed on 5, or if you want to include Uniswap, then 6 exchanges, which are Bitmart, Bitforex, Ascendex, OKX, Uniswap if you want, and Gate.io. Now, there are so many exchanges, if you just look at the list of the biggest exchanges, that we still want to see that with each of these more than 500 exchanges that are out there, we will see pumps on the OMI token. The smaller ones will not result in a permanent increase maybe of the OMI token, more in a pump and dump like we had seen it with Bitmart, but eventually on the other exchanges, we will also see the listing of the Ecomi token. And whenever that happens, we will see large, big green candles. And then there is an OMI utility program feature that I really want to highlight, and that is the burning of collectibles. Because right now, edition sizes are not very appealing for some of these collectibles. These collectibles are trending below $10, even though they are first appearances. But this doesn't have to be always like this, because we have already heard before when we were talking about metadata that we will be seeing not only the maximum supply of this collectible when it was released, but also how much is remaining. If we can see that in the metadata, we will know and see how the supply is decreasing. Now you could ask, why would someone burn collectibles? Well, you get that feature from the OMI utility program staking tier 2 or 3, I'm not quite sure. And with this feature, you will be able to do this burning. And you would want to do this because burning a collectible gives you master collector program points that you can transform into extra raffle tickets. So let's say you are sitting on 1,000 editions of whatever garbage comic that you bought for less than a gem on the Veve app. If you were sniping constantly, maybe it's possible. But let's say between 50 cents and $2.50, you collected 2,000 of these comics. and you see that Pokemon is coming out, you could start sending those comics into the incinerator to create as many raffle tickets as possible. And there will be people that burn higher quality collectibles just for that, to just have a chance on an ultimate animated, whatever, super scarce Charizard, let's say, right? So I figure that for a Charizard, which is the iconic Pokemon collectible, since the Charizard cards are extremely expensive, some people might even burn a vault or two. However, there's also another strategy to this, even without focusing on the Master Collector Program points, and that is burning collectibles to make one specific collectible very scarce, or a specific amount of collectibles very scarce. So for example, if you were able to grab a secret rare comic of 250 editions and slowly buying it up so that you are controlling 200 of the 250 and you are burning 199, the whole supply would shrink to 51 and potentially the value would explode. I don't know if someone would do it, but certainly there are people that would do it. And the third factor is to burn a collectible to flex and show just that you can do it. This would be then the fact for burning a collectible like a Donnie or something like that, just to flex. We have seen already in the real world that someone destroyed a very valuable piece of art or something like a Rolex watch. We have seen already the question popping up whether we will be able to take our collectibles out of the Veve app and sell them on other marketplaces. Interoperability is a word here, and it could mean several things. One thing would be to extract, for example, a golden moment and selling it on OpenSea. The question is if at this point on the roadmap this will still be necessary, because first of all, OpenSea is not the greatest marketplace out there. It is right now because all the Ethereum whales are playing on this playground. But we have seen the previous milestones with crypto to gems. So we are basically opening the gates to these Ethereum whales coming into the Veve app. So what we actually want to see is that Veve as a marketplace outperforms the other marketplaces and is the go-to marketplace for a lot of collectibles. And then the question is if we really want to take these collectibles away. Another view on interoperability could be that we want to be able to take our collectibles out of the control of Veve, because when they ban your accounts, your collectibles are gone. But if you could move them for a while into the MetaMask wallet, and then when you want to sell them, move them back to the Veve market, this would be another point of interoperability with hardware wallets, with trust wallets, with whatever wallets that we can imagine where we want to move our collectibles. And I'm highly in favor of doing that just to prove our ownership about this. And this is also something that wouldn't harm the brands of those collectibles. So I really would want to see that. And then there is a third factor of interoperability that actually requires these points that I've outlined here below. And that is the possibility to take your collectibles and move them over to another metaverse, for example, or into a game. And also this type of interoperability I would want to see. Maybe not all licensors will allow this for their collectibles, but I feel that most of them will be interested in, just to push their brands, because in the end it's all about brand visibility for the licensors on the Veve app. So if you are Disney, you want that there are in a couple of years headlines like Disney NFT sold for 3.5 million on the Veve marketplace. Also Veve wants that, and also we want that. We want to see that. And obviously also we want to see that the gamers are using lightsabers that they bought on the Veve app in whatever metaverse or VR game, and so on. And then at this point, if we have progressed so far, we will be already in the middle of hardcore marketing, where Veve will do exactly what is coming up here. They will be bringing awareness on all channels, on the Disney Pluses, on social media, with YouTube influencers, with TikTok, with whatever we will have. Maybe there will be another social media platform, and in itself, the possibility of augmented reality and virtual reality will bring a different type and mode of social media. 2D websites and 2D platforms will probably be in the past. A shop will not be more to scroll through, but to rather walk in and look at the things that you want to purchase and have sent to your home. Then there is a very important point that might come way earlier. I hope it does, but I put it more to the end of this roadmap leading up to the VeVeVerse, and that is the reduction of fees. Right now we have a cash out fee with 10%, and right now this 10% fee is protecting the Veve economy from not totally collapsing. But as Rhys already mentioned on the AMA of the Superstar Money channel, the reduction of fees will be crucial to attract people to come in the app, because after serving as a protective factor, a fee will be a factor to prevent people from coming into the app, because they don't want to share so much of their margin with Veve and the licensors. So in my opinion, once this economy is rolling and Veve is going to make more and more money, and they see the effects that the high fees have on a slower influx of users, they will consequently reducing those fees. So this is also the reason why I am not going to sell anything. I will hold for the long term. I want to see low fees and extremely high collectible prices for my collectibles before I'm thinking about taking some profits off the table. And then a very interesting one, especially for the whales, will be the renting of collectibles. But not only for the whales, also for the people that hold rare collectibles since a long time, because there will be real life utility be added to a lot of these collectibles, to newer ones, but maybe also for older ones. And if you are not getting a hand on specific collectibles that are a key to do something in this augmented reality metaverse, or even in the real life, such as attending a specific event, if you need a secret rare Spider-Man for that, there are not so many people to attend this exclusive collectible. So there might be a potential to rent this collectible and therefore be eligible to enter this event, because the original holder has no interest to go or cannot go at this moment. And there are millions of ideas how you could make renting collectibles possible. Even comics could be a subject to renting collectibles. There could be also the possibility to rent a specific secret rare that is missing in your set, just to be able to grab an announced airdrop. And then with regards to the one-of-one NFTs, renting is even more exciting, because obviously with one-of-ones you could say, hey, I have this David Warhol, and if you want to put this on the wall at your virtual reality event in the metaverse, then you need to rent it from me. So if there's only one, obviously the renting fee will be very high. Now, for the one-of-ones, there's also an interesting point that Alfred has actually mentioned in that talk. There's also on the Veve channel a very great and insightful conversation between Dan, David, Rhys, and Alfred. And Alfred mentioned the fractional ownership of specific physical items, and very valuable ones, by holding a certain NFT. And the interesting thing could be that this will be a replica that exists 1000 times, for example, in Veve, that actually gives you 0.1%, so ownership of, for example, a very high priced painting in the real world. So you can use that digital counterpart in the metaverse, but also if the piece in the real world was to be sold, you could benefit from a share of the selling price every time it gets sold. So this is a very interesting concept, and this could also put positive pressure on art NFTs. And then I have mentioned it before, we can at least speculate with a lot of certainty right now that there are very big brands still to come to Veve. And these could be, for example, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, and Yu-Gi-Oh! The reason why I'm saying this is because it has been mentioned and teased several times, especially Pokemon. There is a video, a very old video of Alfred and David Yu talking about who actually holds the Pokemon license. There's also Venkatesh that basically involuntarily leaked that Veve has Pokemon on an event. And there is also a very old video of David Yu mentioning how he was selling Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh to the APEC region. So I am very confident that they have actually the rights to Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. And I have mentioned this many times, but I will repeat it here again, that I believe that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh are the leveraging factors that brought in DC and Disney with all the umbrella like Marvel, Star Wars brands under the Disney control into the Veve app. This is a massive brand and they must have had something to show on the sales pitch, I say it every time, that lets these big brands gravitate to Veve and not to whatever Ethereum, Solana, Project, Cardano, NFTs or whatever. So I believe we are going to see Pokemon, and the different evidences for this are piling up. David Yu has shown a Pokemon card, a graded one, a PSA, whatever Pokemon card in his background already. They are teasing each other with stuff like Gotta Catch 'em Al for Alfred Khan. So there is so much. And then the personality of Alfred Khan as the father of Pokemon in itself on the team, on the AMAs, now on the community update in itself makes me very, very certain that they have Pokemon. And the big question is if with the increase of these technologies and awarenesses and the ties to potentially Niantic, this is not only Pokemon collectibles, but interaction with the next generation of playing Pokemon Go, maybe with VR, AR goggles outside. And this would be the point where the metaverse turns out to not be just an online game, how many people see it right now, as we experience Sandbox and these other metaverses already, because in that sense, World of Warcraft was already a metaverse, a first iteration of the metaverse, but rather something that you can experience in the real world, depending if you have your AR equipment on your head or not. So in my opinion, metaverse or augmented verse will be more something like the internet, and everyone is building it potentially together, but it will take a long time until it can grow together into one layer, one infrastructure. In my opinion, there will be so much money and branding potential in this development. So I'm extremely bullish to see Veve with their team on the forefront of this technological wave. And if you're looking at it and if you listen to them, you must admit that you are so early on Ecomi and Veve that you are already in this project when there are still infrastructural changes are made, when still regulators are fighting over how to regulate the underlying tokens, and where most of the laws of most countries do not accept NFTs yet as legal property, or have recently decided that, like the United Kingdom did a couple of months ago. So that's how early you are. And you are so early that everything that you see on this roadmap as of now is either happening at this moment, like DesignerCon and one-of-one NFTs, or is going to happen over the course of the next years. You can be certain that you are in the couple of percent that is already in, even if you have found Ecomi and Veve just a week ago. Even if you would find Ecomi and Veve in a month from now. That's how early we are, in my opinion. And I know this sounds like complete Moonboy degenerate stuff, and I know this is a very, very long video, but I promise you, stick around until the end, because it's going to be very interesting. It will open your eyes, and after this whole video, you will have another perspective on the whole structure of Ecomi and Veve. The next one that was already mentioned is customizable collectibles, and I will not lose many words for this one. It is just something more to do on the Veve app, to play around, to use in augmented reality, to take photos with, let's say, Deadpool with and without his Christmas pullover. There are so many options that you can think of with these collectibles. I leave that to your imagination. And then we have accessories, which is also an extension that I want to mention here. It's even more to do with the collectibles, but as of now, people are using the collectibles as accessories, and that's also very fun to see how creative people can be with this stuff. And then we cannot forget the other AMAs, like the one on Tabs Trades channel or the one of Essentially Crypto. It would be too much to go through all of them, but we have heard already that there will be a third play to earn game. Actually, it would be the fourth one already, because we got Canon Crisis in the meantime, but they said it would be the third one. So we have Fishes, Epico, Regal, Canon Crisis already, which are more smaller games or community games, but they said this is going to be a bigger one. And obviously, they have no pressure, because right now there's no hype. There is no hype about NFTs. There is a lot of worry and turmoil in the economy. Many people are looking to save money and hold their money together, and no one's interested in NFTs right now. You can see it in the Google search trends, and no one's interested in play to earn games except you degenerates that are still watching these contents. So probably this is going to take longer, but once the markets are coming back and a lot of uncertainty is washed out, weekends washed out, fudders washed out, whatever, the markets will turn around, and that is when we are probably going to see these milestones. And here is one thing that I found very interesting and that I've added to this roadmap. There's no confirmation that this will ever happen, but we can see some kind of it already happening. For example, with the Veve exclusive covers on comics. So these are covers that are only existing in the digital world of Veve, that are official releases by Marvel. So if you're a collector, you have to come into the Veve app and buy these covers to have these covers if you're a collector. But I could imagine even more. Veve could become a publisher for Marvel and for other brands as well. So what we could imagine is not only a specifically commissioned cover by Marvel for a specific artist to release that on Veve, but a whole comic that is only available on Veve. And if this is happening, obviously it needs more education for NFTs also in the Marvel community to get the necessary acceptance for such a move. But once this is happening, someone who is a very passionate collector and wants to collect each and every comic, and all the readers that want to read each and every comic, they have to come onto the Veve app and purchase this specific comic, because it's only going to be available there, and at least then they will discover all this world that has already built up on the Veve app. What we are going to probably see then in these later stages, when there's a lot of money already coming into the app, when there are millions of users on the app, or at least hundreds of thousands of active users, is going to be land sales. And we do not know exactly how they will be purchasable, if you need to stake OMI for this, if you need to spend OMI for this. I personally would like to see that you have to buy OMI to be able to purchase land, and that it actually burns away part of this OMI as a buyer's fee from the circulating supply. That would be my personal dream for those land sales, but these land sales will eventually come for the specific VeVeVerse, which is not the augmented verse in itself, but which would be the closed metaverse where all the licensors can be present, where the Veve community can get together, where you can build something, and where you can actually purchase land to do whatever you want, hopefully. And yes, I think this will be a very big catalyst for both the collectibles and the OMI token. And it will be happening before the actual release of the Metaverse. However, I think it will take longer than the end of the year. I believe we will see it, maybe the land sales, throughout 2024 somewhere, but not earlier. And then finally, there are other NFT marketplaces that could actually, not in a way of interoperability in itself, but actually close an agreement with Veve to let collectibles of specific brands to go back and forth. So it could be that the Binance and the Coinbase NFT places, because as of that point, we have probably the token already listed on Binance and Coinbase, that the NFTs can also be bought and sold on those NFT marketplaces, and that some of the NFTs, like the Yuga Labs ones, could be bought and sold on the Veve app. It is imaginable in my opinion, so I put it on the very end where everything is very vague. Now this is not the last point, so stick around, because we have obviously the exchange listings of Binance and Coinbase, and whenever this happens, the price of the Ecomi token will absolutely explode. And we have seen already, I've shown it probably a million times already, that David Yu and CZ at least know each other. They have taken a photo together that is available on the internet. If I find it, I will display it here again for you. And yeah, I think there's not much to it. With this big of a community, Binance and Coinbase want to list the Ecomi token to get everyone into their exchanges. And then finally, we will have the launch of the VeVeVerse. And the launch of the VeVeVerse will probably occur in iterations throughout this roadmap, but I honestly do not see more than maybe an extension of showrooms until the end of this year. But yeah, I'm absolutely excited. The only thing that I have more or less a timeline here is the milestones of the beginning. Q3, Q4, we should be able to see all of the ones that are within this frame, the new verticals. I have put partially in, partially out, because they are not very punctual. But all in all, I think this is how the roadmap, as far as we understand it, and as far as we can see it right now, looks like. And we are obviously going to check back after a while what we have already achieved. Now let me know in the comments below what you think about the different milestones, which ones are guaranteed to come, which ones you think we will never see, where do you think I'm absolute degenerate moon boy, or where do you think I am accurate, and where do you think it is reasonable? Let me know about all of this in the comments below. Let me also know if you think you are more bullish right now. Do you think Veve will succeed and will bring all of this, or do you think that Ecomi and Veve will fail along the way? Let me know about all of this in the comments below right now. And I am going to end this video with a very important clip from that Alfred Khan team talk that we have seen. I think this is the most bullish and most impressive clip from all of them. So yeah, enjoy this, and I will already say, wherever you are on this world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and see you in the next video.
No matter what happens to Veve from here onwards on the journey, that every single one of these items that you are seeing in Veve is the first appearance of them in digital. It's almost like buying a comic book in the 1930s, 50s, 60s, the first appearance of this superhero, this character. This is the going down in the history, regardless, is the first appearance of these characters existing. And the value of that is going to be huge. And that's why I'm so proud that I have actually, with Dan and the team, done something that is meaningful, impactful in the years to come.